It's something that I've been thinking a lot about recently, that everyone, or a lot of people, are looking for happiness in life. And I don't think that's the right thing to be after. Happiness is it's a moment, it's a thing that passes. Nobody's happy forever. I am a person, I'm a photographer, director obviously, but I think I'm a curious person with a high attention to detail. I'm definitely a perfectionist, which has kind of assisted me in many ways, but also has been a negative at sometimes. I like to kind of push things and explore things and challenge people and narratives and ideas. I'm still working out who I am. I guess I'm still young. I'm still working out who I am, but I know I'm not just someone that goes along with something because that's what everyone else does. I don't know, I guess everyone thinks that they have some big fascinating story and that they're the most interesting person in the room. I've never had an office job, or I've always kind of been doing different things, trying different things, all within photography. I've only ever been a photographer, but so I think, yeah, there's plenty of stories there. I don't know, it would still need to be visual. I love design, interior design. I don't know much about it, but then equally I don't know much about kind of the theory of photography, and I don't know every photographer and the history of it that well. So I guess it's just intuition, and it's just built in me to just know and I guess that's the beauty of being an artist and being a tastemaker, and that's what clients love, is that you're buying someone with a voice and opinion, and a lot of people aren't going to like my style, whether that's photography or my aesthetics. Yeah, I guess the first feeling I have when I see AI work in the wild, it's kind of, I think it's cheap and easy. If it's in a commercial space, I think it's kind of, I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of, okay, I get the brands kind of exploring, experimenting with new technologies, trying new things, cutting their costs, or not cutting their costs. I mean, Coca-Cola's recent Christmas ad was all AI, cost them however much crazy money. It wasn't cheaper, it wasn't quicker. You've tried to take a shortcut there, and you've tried to cut corners, and it hasn't paid off because it doesn't look great. But also, I'm not kind of angry or upset about it, because they're exploring new technology, they're pushing the boundaries of development of technology and visual direction and everything, which, hats off to them, they're trying it. Yeah, I don't know, I think it's kind of, when I see AI, there's definitely no feeling. The minute you know it's AI, you don't feel anything. It's kind of just, slop. Me personally, in terms of image generation, doesn't really appeal to me. It's not my vibe, it's not my aesthetic, it's not the way I do things. I like to have people in my work because it adds some connection and emotion, I think. I try to make it so people can relate to what's happening, whether they can see themselves as that person or they can see themselves within that scene and they're the friend or they're the partner of that person. I think it just connects to you emotionally. We're humans, we connect to eye contact, we connect to emotion. So taking a pretty street scene photo that hasn't got people in, or a landscape, nice, you went there and you kind of, you got the access to that location, but somebody could go back the next day and take the kind of same photo, really. When it's kind of a natural, candid, more kind of street photography approach, that moment isn't going to happen again. So that presents a challenge to the photographer to make that look interesting and tell a story. I started out wanting to be a photojournalist, and for it to all be humanitarian and political and empowering. So I guess my initial introduction to storytelling was that world, documentary world, because I thought I could, fix the world and save all the decline in the world and all the various ways the world is declining. So I guess at that point, I liked the idea of telling stories and telling narratives as a way of communicating the way I see the world, and not being the best communicator, literally proving my own point, not because I can't talk, not being the best communicator verbally or written, proving my point exactly. But I do understand, in my own way, visual communication. So it was something that I was good at and understood quite quickly, and it came fairly natural to me. And I kind of just see things the way I see them, and other people would find that interesting because apparently the way that I see things, the way I compose something, the way I select images out of, if it's a portrait shoot, what I'm selecting and what I'm deleting is very different to what others would. And people found that interesting, and they liked the way that I would curate things, whether in camera or in post. If I just spend my life documenting my curation of the world and other people are gonna look at that, find it interesting, pay me to do that, then that's a pretty good life to live. There's a lot of hurry up and wait. Too much time, not enough time, something like that. I don't know, I always have either too much time with something and I'm waiting around, or I don't have enough time, or I don't know, something about time. I consider myself a decent photographer, yeah. I think I've got a long way to learn. I'm still young in my career. I look at photographers all the time. There's times where I see things and I don't even know how they've done that, how they got that, how do they even think of that? Like that's insane. I see myself as I'm on a path. I'm happy where I'm at. It's something that I've been thinking a lot about recently, that everyone, or a lot of people, are looking for happiness in life. And I don't think that's the right thing to be after. Happiness is a moment, it's a thing that passes. Nobody's happy forever. I think I'm looking for contentment. I'm happy with the journey I'm on. I'm happy with the path I'm on and the trajectory. So for where I'm at now in my career, in my life, I'm happy with my photography, but yeah, I've got a long way to go as to where I want to be, where I think I could be if I continue. I mean, we'll see. When I was younger, I knew 100% from as early as I can remember, I didn't want an office job. I didn't want a boss. I didn't want my time being controlled by someone else. Kind of ironic now that I work for other people that are very much demanding of my time. But no, I didn't want that formal structure. And I knew that I wanted to travel, see the world, experience things, and I was always very curious. And I discovered photography pretty quick. I was coming of age when Instagram really kind of was taking off and Tumblr was happening, and that seemed like the answer to me, and this kind of, okay, so I can just travel the world and take photos of what I see. I think I saw that pretty quickly and then realized, okay, no, I want to go a bit deeper than that. I don't want to just take pretty photos. I want to tell stories, and then that led me down the path of wanting to go into kind of photojournalism, documentary photography. Went to study that and then realized that that wasn't for me either, and then ended up here as a sellout commercial photographer. No, I'm kidding. But no, ended up where I am now, and I am super happy with where I'm at right now. Camera for me, I don't think it's an extension of me, but I don't know, I guess when I'm out and about, I'll be driving, I'll kind of, if I don't have a camera on me, I can't take a photo. I do see photos everywhere, and I'll get annoyed at myself, I don't have a camera. So I think there's a kind of camera in my head, and I kind of, as I'm driving, I'll even kind of pretend to, and kind of, yeah, that was a good photo. I do that a lot, so maybe I'm an extension of the camera. I'm not someone that carries a camera every day. If I think, okay, there's gonna be something interesting here, yeah, I'll take a camera. I didn't used to, and then since I now license a lot of my photos of just everyday moments, and that's now a very hot thing that people want, is just everyday authentic moments. I see those, I know how to photograph them, I do photograph them, so there's value there, so hey, why not? It's kind of an easy thing for me to do. I guess the secret my camera knows about me is how many photos I take sometimes. I'm not someone that's spraying at 10 frames a second. I shoot a lot. If I'm on a shoot, I'm normally gonna be in the kind of 1,000, 2,000 photos plus range. I shoot quickly because a lot of my favorite photos have often been, they're the outtakes, they're the kind of, I got lucky where a shadow happened to just enter the scene that I hadn't even spotted, but it has helped it, or a bird has flown in, or something's happened that's out of my control, but then also within my control because it's not luck, because I was there. I think there's luck. Luck's a weird one in photography. You make your own luck. I'm not someone that's massively, oh, you got lucky. It's no, you did that. You went out, you got up out of bed and went out and made that happen. But in terms of getting the actual image, I think that's the photographer. Probably the control. I have I'm a bit of a control freak about myself, my work, others. You know, in work, I don't need to be in control of everything because there's a lot of benefits to, you know, this idea of perfection and being in control. A lot of benefits, and it's served me very well throughout life and my career. The problem is it takes away from what I need to do because there's a really good diagram in a book that I have where it's like an arrows going in every different direction. And they're all quite short arrows because I'm spread too thin because I'm trying to control all these million different things. Whereas if I can just focus and narrow that control and that attention to one direction, put all that energy into one thing, I'm going to go way further in the thing that actually matters. I find peace in just hanging out at home, I think, because when I'm away and on holiday, that's when I'm the most active, and that's when I'm working, I'm exploring new ideas, I'm shooting, I'm trying to enjoy the trip, I'm doing a million things. So that's not that relaxing for me. I actually need a holiday from holidays, but that's a vicious cycle that never happens. So for me, my kind of peace, my relaxation, my recharging is just hanging out at home where there's not much work going on, do a bit of cooking, do a bit of reading, and just edit photos and kind of just play around with different layouts and things. Yeah, that's my relaxation. Right, am I demiking?